The heck is this thing doing? Yeah, I don't know how to start this. I promised myself I wasn't gonna get sweaty until the end of this, but it's a little late for that. Education versus experience. Which is more important? Before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about why I'm on this topic, because I'm about to get very passionate about this topic and I want y'all to know why. So I graduated with a music degree, as I mentioned in a previous video, and halfway through pursuing this degree, I was pretty close-minded to the fact that my degree wasn't going to define my career or who I was as a person. It could, but it didn't have to. And I didn't know this. I was like, alright, I got this path, I gotta go down it. I gotta walk down this path, and if I don't do it, it's that way or the highway. Bye. So as soon as my music major friends and acquaintances started figuring out what they wanted to do down the road, a lot of them knew what they wanted to do since the moment they entered college, which I thought was really cool, and wondering why I wasn't doing that. A lot of them chose their path really early, and honestly I was kind of envious of that at first. Then the end of college grew nearer and nearer, and more people knew what they wanted to do. They were applying for jobs, they had a lot of stuff lined up, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I love music and I love who it's made me into as a person, but I don't know if I want to do this as a career. I don't know what I could do with it as a career. And so I was anxiety ridden for the entirety of senior year of college, thinking I'm screwed. The path is here, I'm over here, and I do not want to get back on. But I was kind of too late to change my mind. I wanted to finish my degree, and I was already like $50K in debt, so I'm not backing out now. I made a video about post-graduation depression and how not to let yourself get down about graduating, not knowing what you want to do. It's all good. And I still truly believe that, because let me tell you, the past few months have kind of changed my life. I followed my own advice and I started applying for jobs and I started marketing myself. I marketed myself in a way that I was not closing myself off to certain opportunities. So I have a degree in music. I currently have a job at a financial institution as a loan servicer. I absolutely love it. I am being able to pay for my own living expenses. I am almost paying off a car. I am living the high life right now. Let me say I'm also very blessed, because as we're considered essential workers, I get to have a job, a full-time job that I really love, and I realize not everybody is working right now, so I'm super blessed to be able to work. So the point of this story is to explain why I kind of got into the topic, what's more important, experience or college or education. And I forgot to mention this before, but the reason I had gotten the job was because I had a lot of prior experience with some of the small things that the job entailed. So even though in high school and in college the jobs I had weren't glorious, they weren't all sunshine and rainbows, sometimes I didn't want to be doing them, I gathered small tools here and there that I was able to use on my resume in order to get a job in a field I wasn't familiar with. So I want to talk about the answer to the question, what's more important, experience or education? And when I say I was close-minded in college, I really was. I really thought it was a cut and dry answer. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get educated and I'm just gonna go right into work. But now I have completely changed my perspective, because I may be using my education to my advantage, but I am not using the field in which I graduated with. So let's get into it. So I first want to emphasize that no matter where you are, if you're watching this video because you're stuck or you kind of want to hear another perspective on the whole issue, no matter if you think education or experience is more important, no matter what your viewpoint is on it, no matter what you think about either one, whatever you're doing, if you're getting educated, if you're working and getting experience, if you're interning, any of those things, no matter what you're doing or where you're at, let me tell you a secret. You're benefiting yourself either way. There's a certain stigma around not getting educated, or getting educated in this and getting educated in that, and graduating with this and not graduating, or graduating with this and not that. There's large stigmas around advancing yourself and how you're advancing yourself. But let me tell you, if you're bettering yourself and you're learning, if you're getting experience, you're benefiting yourself either way. No matter what you're doing, it's still advancement, it's still progress. So don't get discouraged, whatever you're doing, you're succeeding. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing was that I found a lot of articles emphasizing education versus experience, And then I came across one from Independence University, which I'll link below, that emphasize education and experience. And I totally agree with that. When I got the job, she was like, okay, you graduated college, which means you are a hardworking individual that can be relied upon. You obviously are determined and work hard. But then the experience saying, okay, you've gathered some tools along the way to help you be successful at this job. It's working with both experience and education. So on the one hand, education can obviously do a lot of things for you. Most of the time, if you want to advance in a company or move up to higher positions, they're gonna want somebody with credentials. This is not 100% true because each job and each employer is different. Sometimes they want the record of an education to where you were successful and hardworking. On the other hand, if you have experience, your employer knows that you can handle real world situations and that you've been put in situations before that you would need with that job. With education, you kind of want to work an angle where what you learned in a school or a classroom kind of applies to the real world. You can do things in a classroom. You can succeed in an environment in which you're not put in certain situations. You can take a test, you can spit back the information, but can you apply it to your job? That's what they want to know. I think you really need to market yourself in the appropriate way to say, hey, I know the material and I also know how to apply it to this certain job. And it really helps too because in a lot of instances when you're getting educated, you're also getting real world experience through internships and observing and student teaching. Any of those things, you're gonna get experience too. And that's really how you want to market yourself to employers, is that I have real life worldly situations in which that would help me do this job. And you also have the credentials as well. Experience also works because that would help you succeed at the job. They know you've done it before and you can be relied upon like that. Obviously, these do overlap, and this is especially important on a resume. If you have education on your resume, you also want to show them that you have experience, and if you have experience, you also want to show the skills and talents that you've learned while gaining this experience. So really, they go hand in hand. And then you want to decide what you want to list first. Do you want your education first, or you want your experience first? What do you want their first impression of you to be? For me personally, I definitely listed my education first. I was super proud of myself for graduating college that I really wanted to put that first. In my head, this is how the conversation with myself went down, is that I wanted to show them that graduating from college with honors made me a reliable, hardworking, and determined individual. All my hard work paid off because now I have a degree. Even though it's in music, I still have a degree. I still went through the college process and worked so hard to get there. I hope I'm explaining enough to help somebody come to the conclusion that education and experience, they go hand in hand, and they can both work equally on their own to their own advantages. And it really depends on the employer, the company, the atmosphere and the environment, what they want. I just wanted to make it clear that there is no cut and dry answer, that no matter if you think you have this path, that doesn't mean there's not other paths, and you can't go from one to the other because that's not true. There are paths and paths and paths at your disposal. So I hope this video inspires, helps, or was just purely entertaining. I just wanted to share my journey because I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. If someone can relate to my story, and if somebody has a story that they can tell me, I've had an impact on one person, and that's one person more than if I never tried. Well, thank you all so much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe because I really actually am going to try this time to keep uploading content. So thank you everybody for watching.